Hello everyone, can you see my share screen? Hello.
Yes, very clear. You can start. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon everyone. I'm Muhammad Birul Alim. We will represent our team in presenting the result of a research entitled Investigating the Impact of ICT Development on the Environmental in the Digital Economy and Green Economy in Southeast Asia. Okay, as an introduction and research background, the problem issue in the journal is economic growth requires energy consumption, but energy consumption increase CO2 emission that damage the environment. Environmental damage has an impact on decreasing productivity. Digitalization of technology has an impact on increasing economic activity, increasing economic activity, increasing energy consumption, and increased energy consumption has an impact on increasing the greenhouse effect, which has an impact on the environment. When the environment is damaged, productivity will also decrease. Okay, next is the gap in this research. The first, course of digital economy. The efficiency of information and communication technology increase productivity, according to Priyanto et al., Albrecht et al., and Sun et al. Increasing economic activity and economic productivity threatens environmental sustainability, according to Kumar et al. And ICT encourage an increase in the greenhouse effect, according to Gosling et al. And Albrecht et al. Second, cost of digital economics. Information and communication technology can streamline energy consumption, according to Neves et al. And Bastida et al. And economic digitalization can reduce the environmental impact of economic activity. Next, this is research method in our research. This empirical study tries to evaluate the connection between Southeast Asia environmental impact, investment in ICT, and economic growth, with secondary data from the Global Footprint Network and the World Bank, with a research period from 1990 to 2020, with the panel IRDL model to test the co-integration relationship between the variables. This is the model. Here's the factor equation used in the panel IRDL model. Okay. Next, table 1 is a description of variable. The variable EFP is an ecological food point. From the source is a global food point network, and GDP is economic growth. GE is a green economic. TTO is a technology trade openness, and ICT is information and communication technology, a composite indicator made up of power components that is fixed telephone submission, mobile cellular suppression, fixed broadband subscription, and internet user. Table 2 is a descriptive statistic, and table 3, this is a result in this research. Based on table 3, all stationary variables in the first difference are stationary. So it may be concluded that this indicator meets the requirement for co-integration. Table 4, this is a Johansson co-integration test. Based on the table 4, at the maximum rank of 1, there is a co-integration relationship between variables with a critical value of 5% higher than the test value. And the table 5, this is a IRDL result. According to table 5 findings, economic growth significantly improves the ecological food point at the expense of environmental sustainability. The ecological food point is significantly impacted negatively by the usage of green economy, which is creating better for environmental sustainability, as well as technology trade openness, which indicates that technology development in the recent period are increasing friendly to the environment. Although the development of ICT has a positive impact on the ecological footprint, but it's not significant. Okay, last is the conclusion in the study. The impact of ICT on environmental sustainability does not have a significant impact, which means that development of information and communication technology is very feasible to be developed to support the green economy as well as digital economy, where the use of green energy has a significant negative impact on the ecological footprint, which is getting better for environmental sustainability as well as technology trade openness, which indicate that technological development in the recent period are increasing friendly to the environment. Ultra economic growth in ASEAN member nation in Southeast Asia will contribute as much to a significant ecological footprint. The development of a green and digital economy in Southeast Asia is a good step to maintain economic growth while, preserving the environment by developing environmentally friendly technology and renewable green energy. Okay, maybe that's all I can say. Thank you for your attention, and sorry if there are any wrong words from me, and then I will return it to Mr. Suryani. Thank you all. Hello, Mr. Suryani.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Birul Ali. Maybe for other other presenter, maybe you want to asking or give a comment to Muhammad Birul Ali presentation. The time is yours. Thank you.
Excuse me, can I ask?
Okay, Miss Asna.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I would like to ask you about your research implication actually for COVID-19 recovery. What your research implication for recovering the the recovery the economic after the COVID-19?
Okay, maybe Muhammad Birul Ali, maybe can you answer the question of Miss Asna regarding your study, please? Thank you.
Okay. Please wait a second, Mr. Suryani and Mr. Okay. I'm sorry, Miss Asna, but our journal is more about CO2 emission, not COVID and economic. Uh, yes.
Yeah, but I think it has the relationship to economic recovery, maybe because in COVID-19 pandemic, all people living at home, working at home, stay at home, school at home, everything at home, and almost 80% industry, they stop their production, their operational activity. I mean, in the COVID-19 pandemic, it is the opportunity for the world, for the earth to clean up the air. So I think has the relationship with your research focus on energy or the environment. Any feedback maybe? Because it is interesting actually if we're talking about the environment, because right now the economic not only focus on how the people can survive after the pandemic, but also on how we can keeping the environment still in a good in a good condition after the process, the cleaning up process from the because of the pandemic COVID-19.
Okay, according to me, with restriction, in addition to preventing the spread of the virus, it also suppresses air pollution.
Yeah. So So actually, what's your research implication for the recently economic condition? Just also if I can give you the suggestion, maybe you can improve your paper to have some implication, research implication to the economic recovery. Even you don't talk about the pandemic or the COVID-19, but maybe you can add or improve the implication of your research, so the readers can really know, oh, okay, your paper will be is very useful, and because your paper is interesting, so it needs to be developed and at the implication of the research, and because so it will be better, I think. Thank you.
Okay, maybe the implication is that energy saving might suppress economic growth, but increases environmental sustainability so that it can grow in the future.
Yeah,
Thank you for your suggestion, Ms. Sophie.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Sylvie, for suggestion, asking, and comment. Okay, any question for everyone?
Okay, I have question for Muhammad Biro. Before you have explanation about your research gap and then about your model and then your results, I'm not fine about what theory you use. Then you use your model in your PowerPoint. Then about your research gap, before you say the efficiency of information and communication technology is increased productivity, but your results is not same with you say before in your PowerPoint. So the first question, what is theory you use until you have the models? And then what's the implication for your research? It's not same with your say before. Thank you.
Okay.
What is your grand theory? Then you have the model.
Okay, thank you for your question, Ms. Surya Dewi. The theory we use is a solo growth theory. In solo, technology has impact to production, but regarding environment, still pro and contra.
Then what is your recommendation? You have different finding from your research gap before. Okay, maybe you can have an explanation. Same with Miss Sylvie Asma say, in your paper you can add again if you have different result from your say before, from the literature maybe, from the theory maybe, then we'll have your complicated or more full explanation there. Thank you. I back to Sorani.
Thank you for your suggestion, Ms. Surya.
Thank you for suggestion and comment, Ms. Surya Dewi. Maybe the other one. If no, maybe I have the comment for you. Very good suggestion from Ms. Sylvie and Ms. Surya. Maybe you can add some implication in your research. Maybe it's make more clear. Maybe I know your research about the quantitative research is about the causalistic relationship, and your implication maybe not maybe your implication in your research I see is for make a clear about the pro and contra. I mean, regarding the environment, still pro and contra, and we need to investigate the model for make sure the relationship of variable. That's the implication I think you can make clear in your paper, because your paper is quantitative and focused to causalistic relationship. Maybe that's my suggestion for improve your research, so everyone know, okay, this paper we not say about the forecasting, we just say about make clear, because have the gap, so the gap is our motivation to the research, and make sure the model is fit, and why we use the research, and every implication I think is very clear in conclusion, but some of people maybe not read the conclusion more carefully. So they still little bit confused about the implication of your research. Okay, maybe that's the suggestion. And in here, I have the question: why you use IRDLs? Why you use IRDLs for your method? Because you know, it's pros and contra, and the theorists like the solo cannot to explain more well regarding the environment. The solo only the explain about the digital technology. Maybe we can use the solo as grand theory, but environmental until today is still pro and contra. And I, as the researcher, not found the fit theory for be foundation of environment, because still pro and contra. I'll go in theoretic too. I think that's why you do this research. Can you explain to me why you use IRDL in your method? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments and suggestions, Mr. Yaning. Why we use IRDL model? Because the model was built with previous research, so that we investigate more deeply about the model. We have built to investigate the actual research based on the research gap we found.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Birul, a very great presentation and very great research. Maybe you will able to improve in the future. Maybe in the next presentation, I will to call Muhammad Arif. Maybe the people in here have represent Muhammad Arif from University Muhammadiyah Sumatera Utara. Okay, if no people or no person who representative Muhammad Arif, maybe I will continue to Ahyar Hanupun. Ahyar Hanupun. maybe next, the last presenter is Aulia. Okay, I have question for Surya Dewi, Miss Surya Dewi, Miss Sylvie, and Mr. Wilden. Are you presenting in this room or not?
No, I'm just participating in this room
Okay.
and helping my friend to share
Okay.
the screen.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe before the last presenting, maybe Mr. Wildan won't presenting in this room.
Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Pak
you are
Surya
welcome.
Awono,
You are welcome.
for this opportunity for present. And the first is also thank you for the committee that received my paper in this presentation. And today I would like to present my paper about labor force migration. Okay, let me show you my. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is okay. Everybody could see my presentation.
Yes, very clear.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. My presentation is about labor overseas migration and infrastructure development in rural area, evident from Indonesia. This is my
Maybe can unmute, Mr. Wildan. I cannot hear your voice. Sorry.
okay. Sorry. Okay, my presentation about labor overseas migration and infrastructure development in rural area of East Java. This is a criticism of what we call dana desa. For almost 10 years, we have undang-undang desa that I would like to criticize what the impact of undang-undang desa for actually about migration. And why I choose migration? Because the migration trend from rural area can lead to reduction productive workforce in actually in agriculture sectors. If we see that agriculture sector is one of the main sector that contributing on PTP or PTLP in Indonesia. Also, there are most of people in Indonesia work in agriculture sectors, and but the problem we have still a problem in rural infrastructure development, actually mainly in the rural area. But and also this is a question that why labor force, if we develop the rural area, this can cause the people in rural area move to urban area. That's what we call urbanization. If we see the last data in 2020, you can see that the population in rural area tend to decrease, and at the beginning from 2010, yeah, people tend to live in urban area than in rural area, and also because of lack of work participation in agriculture sector, actually for women, this is a support or people, a woman tend to work in urban area, almost in abroad. Infrastructure is main. Infrastructure is important. Pastime in the village community in Java region as center of Indonesian economy in migrating abroad. So this study we try to test the relationship between infrastructure and the village with level dependent on the village community, that we use data potential data that we collect from almost 90,000 village in East Java that we cut from PPS, and we want to know about what relationship between infrastructure and migration. Okay, and the next that we use iterative review and the urban, we use Todaro theory that people migrate also from rural to urban is trying to get, of course, to get more income, but the implication is this could reduce labor productivity in agriculture sector. And then this is not only to urbanize, to urban, but also to rural, to abroad, also abroad. Okay, this is my literature review that we also use. Maybe I can add with new labor migration, new economic labor migration. This also suggests that people went to abroad. This not only decided by individual, but also decided by their families. But in the classic theory, that we know that people tend to migrate. That decision making for migration is from individual, but in fact, actually in Indonesia, people migrate is because of their family. Okay, as literature review, we also use new about infrastructure improvement. In infrastructure improvement can be one way to make a more competitive. This means why Indonesian government make some what we call undang-undang desa, law of village, that trying to increase development in urban and rural area. This is also following by electricity and telecommunication and other business support. And okay, in our research methodology, we use almost all of village in Indonesia that we call village potential or POTES. 2008 is meant because it is the last data that we can cut from PPS, but this almost 90,000 data from POTES, and we try to use what impact of labor migration overseas in Indonesia. Okay, this is almost data, and in this our research methodology we use logit, logistic function with migration is dependent variable and independent variable actually is infrastructure, that infrastructure for education, transportation, road, and ahead, infrastructure, also open space infrastructure, and also internet infrastructure, and also income. What many income source is typically of village population, they tend to agriculture sector or not. If people, more people, or 50% people live in agriculture, yeah, we have null, and non-agriculture we have 1. And the discussion, almost all of variables significantly negative to make migration. It means that better infrastructure, the lesser village to do migration. It means if this is I also find in many places that in most of village in Gunung Kidul, and sort of East Java, there are many fact that after Undang-Undang Desa, implication of Undang-Undang Desa, many people are trying to make some many not only develop infrastructure that also impact to like tourism, yeah, like they open tourism, village tourism, also many they trying to manage their village because they almost all of minimum they cut dana desa from government, they cut we call funding from government. This is almost 10 million in every village in Indonesia. This means they also use most of this funding they use for infrastructure. The last research, the last data from finance minister, that almost 70% of dana desa they use for infrastructure in the first stage, in the first dana desa is 24 until 28, but now they tend to move to like empowering community development, like economic bumdes, etc. Okay, this is a discussion. So it was one that higher of source of income from agriculture sector, and the rural people who tend to migrate to city and work in non-agriculture sector. With high income, rural communities have no choice, and this varied choice provided by city. My research in my research before in Hong Kong, also in Singapore, I already went to Hong Kong and meet with most of meet with women we have worked in Hong Kong. That now if somebody is easier to go to abroad because they not need to have finance, yeah, because the transportation cost or replacement cost is ditanggung is provided by agent in Hong Kong. This also motivate people more work in abroad, but most of them is a woman. There also the problem, if I can add with some information, and also there is not many program in the village, in the planning a village program. there is not many program about the woman empowerment. Most of them is what we call gender bias. Most of them. This is interesting for the next research, I think. Okay, in the conclusion, all of my research that's concluded that infrastructure of source income influence decision people in rural area to migrate. This income influence what means is what they work area. Okay, and my suggestion that we need to criticize the dana desa that is more specific program. Okay, thank you for this presentation. Thank you for Suryaning Bono for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Wilda. Very nice presentation, very nice research. Maybe panelists or everyone, do you want to asking or comment to Mr. Wilda? Time is yours. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Suryani.
Yes,
Yeah.
Miss Sylvie.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Prof. Wildan. It's so interesting because talking about the rural area, we cannot stop talking about the rural area because rural area is like the basic, the source of the development. I mean, if our rural area in Indonesia has very good development, so it will be affect to the national development too. So my question is regarding the infrastructure provided in village. How far the society in village are able to use the infrastructure for their productivity?
Yeah, this is a nice question. Yeah, I think if we want to know about that, yeah, we must tend to depth reset. I think because in this reset we don't exactly to reveal how they use them, but the podcast is only give information about how many they have, like road and electricity. But for people they use, yeah, of course, better infrastructure. They tend to use this. I think like road and market, and also market, road, and internet. Yeah, I think you know that most of people in the village now they use internet not only for communication but also for business. Yeah, but for this reason, I think if we see many information, the last information about that, there are many information or research about this is also improve the ability to cut more market, to enhance or improve their ability for their business. Yeah, for their business. Also, most of them, the last information about that now, and government also give specific funding. Yeah, actually for BUMDes. BUMDes is like private, yeah, micro enterprises that created or by law and also protected by village. But it's also depend on the leader. the role of the leader is very important in the village. But also there are many examples that I also join in many activity and village competition in East Java. There are many people they use the dana desa from many activities that support support to increase the income, something like that.
Yeah.
More detail, we need new. I think more detail. This is a good question. More detail, we can use like data Susunas to a more deep research about that.
Yes, and I think it will be better if we can compare each area, isn't? What do you think?
Okay, thank you, Miss Sylvie.
Yes, thank you, Prof. Wildan, for the very nice research and explanation.
Thank you, Ms. Sylvie and Mr. Wildan. Maybe anyone, do you have any comment or question to Mr. Wildan regarding Mr. Wildan research? If no one have any question or comment, maybe yeah, I have some comment, Mr. Wildan. The first in here have regional reset. So I think I agree with Ms. Sylvie Asna. Is very I think it's better if compared to the other regions, or maybe I still not clear about the reset gap in the previous, but maybe I need to reach the article full. Maybe I can to handle about that.
Yes.
So almost overall is very good presentation, and thank you for sharing, Mr. Lita. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Suleman. I think in the next research, yeah, I think.
Yeah, yeah, maybe
research,
it's
we make some special region. We can divide region because in Indonesia we have many region that almost different.
yeah.
Like in
Yeah, so
Desa
I
in
think
Papua is of course is still different from Desa from East Java.
yeah. Thank you. Very nice research. I waiting your next research, Mr. Wilton.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Okay, maybe in here, Mr. Nugroho, do you want to presenting your research?
Yes, actually he is in this room, and actually as the committee, I would like to help him to play the video. So he will present through the video, but if there is a question and answer, he is welcome to have the discussion. So let me to share the video.
Okay, please, Miss Anna, Miss Sylvie.
Excuse me, Miss.
Yes.
Paper for
Could you find my video?
Maybe we not
You can,
hear anything, Miss Sylvie.
Oh, okay. Wait while.
again here. Cannot hear.
Good afternoon, everybody, everyone in this conference. Because in this morning, in this afternoon, I'd like to present in this BEFIC conference about my my finding in my research. Let me share my PPTs first before I present it. Okay, this is my paper for this event. It's talking about inflation volatility and COVID-19 in Indonesia, which is approached with ARIMA method. For introduction, as we know that stable inflation is a prerequisite for sustainable economic growth, which in turn will provide benefits for improving people's welfare. Moreover, the presence of COVID-19 has a negative impact on the weakening of the community economics. This can be seen in Figure 1, which shows the development of inflation in Indonesia over the last few years, started from January 2020 to December 2020. That is taken from Bank of Indonesia. It is a central bank in Indonesia. It is known that inflation is volatile. That started from January 2020 in 4.33 till December 5, more than this is the index, more than 5.68. That's shown. It will impact to purchasing power from the society that declined and influence the power of purchasing from the society. In addition, the result of the COVID-19 pandemic is a decrease in the purchasing of household consumption based on Central Bureau Statistics Central Bureau from Indonesia. Household consumption fell from 5.02% in the first quarter of 2019 to 2.84% in the first quarter in this year. This will certainly have an impact on the volatility of inflation in Indonesia. Volatility is often used to measure stability and market mood. The greater the volatility of value, the more unstable the value. Rather states that the negative impact consequences of inflationary volatility are a particular issue that needs attention. Research on inflation volatility has been carried out in several countries, including Asian countries, and then Thailand, and then also I think it's also conducted in many countries, not only in Asia, in European, in America, in Southeast Asian, and in other countries. The high variability of inflation over time creates long-term risk, increases the cost of hedging against inflation risk, and creates an uncertainty over the redistribution of wealth. And then, therefore, this is problem in the studies to analyze the volatility of inflation and COVID-19 in Indonesia. Okay, we can skip it, but this because the main issues in this conference is how I conduct this research that is included in research methodology. This research uses quantitative approach, which is a scientific search effort based on the philosophy of logical positivism, which operates with strict rules regarding logic, truth, and prediction. So, because on the title part, I said this research conducted by ARIMA method. It means that autoregressive integrated moving average. So that the methodology will be followed as what the title shown. A quantitative approach is used as an effort to analyze the impact of COVID-19 on inflation volatility in Indonesia. And for data resources and variable operation definition, inflation, like usual, as we know, as broaden how to say science. Yeah, this is taken from Statistic Central Bureau from Indonesia. Inflation means monthly inflation rate as measured by the consumer price index. So I'm not take whole sales price index because the COVID-19 impacts to the household. Even industry also influence also have a negative impact, but this is the main reasons in this part is more the emphasis is for household. And then the general form of the ARIMA model with P order autoregressive and Q order moving averages like the feature. As the result, for the stationary on the first level, first difference, not on the level, so which means based on augmented Dickey-Fuller test statistic, where the probability shown less than the alpha, which is alpha is less than 5% that we used in this research. So the stationary level for the CPI, Consumer Price Index, is achieved on the first difference. Also from the ARIMA-based model for the forecasting, which is shown 110, which means this is P order, and then this is shown, this is shown for the second number one. It means this is integrated. This is integrated, and then with moving average on the 0. So 110 means it can be said that autoregressive in 1 and integrated. This is from ARIMA model testing. And then the ARIMA model testing also chosen 110 has been shown as the and then for the discussion, COVID-19 has an impact on various sectors, including the investment climate that is not too conducive. Based on survey kegiatan dunia usaha, means doing business survey in fourth quarter 2020 is when investment realization decreased until 1.48%, contracted deeper than the previous quarter with negative 1.27%. Based on the economic sector, the slowdown in the realization on investment activities in the fourth quarter of 2020 is indicated to have occurred in the mining and quarrying sector with 2.19%, although it was still recorded positive. According to the doing business survey, that could hamper investment plan in the first semester of 2021, including the COVID-19 pandemic. It is known as the feature inhibiting factors for investment plans. And then for financial condition and credit access in Indonesia, this is known as the blue one is liquidity for 3 months back, previous 3 months. In the middle of COVID, in the midst of COVID-19 condition, it is possible that there are several companies that require access to bank credit because banks play an important role in this sustainability of the company. The bank's financial condition will be described: liquidity, profitability, and access to bank credit in the last 3 months. Access to credit in the last 3 months also increased 2.5 times higher. This is because banks tend to be careful in channeling their credit. The application of credit crunch is carried out by banks by changing credit standards, where banks set higher margins and loans restriction that affect the company's loan growth. Based on the ARIMA method, it is predicted that in the next 5 months, or August to December 2022, the inflation trend will decrease according to prediction. Yeah, from the prediction results, the policy that can be implemented for business sector actors is to carry out their operation activities or marketing with an online system. One of the benefit of online system is cost efficiency. From a business perspective, inflation has a significant effect on the costing pricing of goods and services of a company. If the economic downturn occurs continuously, it is possible that the company will need leverage to encourage an increasing in company profit. So it's also supported by Onodugo and et al. That suggested which is companies need debt to finance various projects and take into account interest rates, which are largely determined by inflation. Therefore, the policies that can be applied are tax relaxation for companies and ease of accessing credits to banks. In terms of the business sector, the food, beverage, and tobacco sectors actually recorded in deflation with a share of minus 0.19% in 2020. This was due to the decline in the price of number of good commodities. The decline in this prices of a number of commodities tend to cause sellers to experience a decline in turnover and profit. The policies implemented are related to the decline in commodity price with the help of capital and the assistance of production tools that can increase production efficiency so that profits can be obtained even though they are not high. On the other hand, the higher contribution to inflation in July 2020 was spending on personal care and other services. Inflation reached 0.93% with a share of 0.06%. These two figures are the highest of the 11 indicators group monitored by Statistics Central Bureau. Commodity contributing to inflation in this category was the increase in coal price that occurred in 80 of the 90 CPI cities that become the Statistics Central Bureau database, or PBS. It can be said that there is an increasing in public interest in investing, moreover in gold commodity, when inflation tend to decrease because gold is a relatively safe asset. And then based on the automatic ARIMA forecasting, according to table 4, that based on testing that the best ARIMA model, it shows that the best ARIMA model is 110, which is the appropriate for analyzing inflation volatility index in the next 5 months. And for suggestion from the prediction result, the policies that can be implemented for business sector actors is to carry out their operational activities like marketing with an online system. And then if the economic downturn or deflation occurs continuously, it is possible for the company to need leverage to encourage an increase in company profit. Therefore, the policies that can be applied to companies are tax relaxation and ease of accessing credit to banks. And for the suggestion number 3, in terms of business sector, the food, beverage, and tobacco sectors actually recorded deflation with a share minus. Like I told, the policies imposed due to the decline in this price of these commodities are capital assistance and production equipment assistance, for business actors in these commodities, so that production efficiency increases and profit that can be obtained also a view. For further researchers, forecasting inflation in the food sectors, forecasting inflation in the manufacturing sector, forecasting inflation in the trade sectors, and other inflation forecasting can also be expanded, the scope, the scale of the operation, the scale of inflation of research, such as forecasting inflation in various provinces in Indonesia or in another place, that it can be seen which province experiences the highest inflation or deflation. Thank you very much for your time. This is my presentation, and thank you very much. And have a nice day. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sylvie, for share very good presentation. Maybe anyone, do you have any question, comment, or suggestion for Mr. Nugroho? Time is yours. Thank you. Anyone have question or comment for Mr. Nugroho? No. If no one have question for Mr. Nugroho, I have very curious to Mr. Nugroho. Why you use ARIMA method for your research? Why you not use the other method, like the example for forecasting, maybe in the business research? Usually like the example for see the behavior data, because it's forecasting. Why you not use like the example result auto regression? So you not only just see about the correlation correlation variable to variable, but also you know about the behavioral data. So you're able to forecasting not only just about trend, but also the possibility to increase or decrease the data and the behavior of the data. Maybe that's my question. Why you use the ARIMA to your method? Do you have a special reason? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Sorry,
Thank
firstly, sorry, I have another meeting. So I sent a video from a presentation, but in this time I try to answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
It can be said that ARIMA has a rigid or robust forecasting, even though the weakness is not on the long term for the forecasting, but this is it can be said that ARIMA is stable because from the progress, from the step by step that be done, yeah, it can not only proper but more than proper about something that we need to forecast about something. For this time in this research, I try to forecast about the volatile, about the inflation, because as we know that inflation not only needed, not only a threat, but we also need inflation, because it can be said that inflation is one, how to say, one of indicator that shows about the developing in this country or area, which is if the area or region have a proper inflation, it means the economy is growing more and more. So I try to in this research, I try to conduct inflation that is influenced, how the the condition of inflation in Indonesia. That's from the methodology. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answer. I think it's very interesting research. Maybe next presenting, anyone will present in this room, or
Yes, there is one more presenter, but he is going to join.
okay,
Please wait for a while.
okay. Miss Sylvie, maybe I ask the Miss Aulia first. Is okay. So the other one maybe after Miss Aulia.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
It's okay. Thank you. Miss Aulia, are you ready for presenting? Miss Aulia?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Thank you. The time is yours, Miss Aulia.
Can you see my PPT?
Yes, very clear, Miss Aulia.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to all the happy attendees of this wonderful event. Praise and gratitude for the presence of God Almighty for having given us the gift of health in the midst of COVID-19. Please allow me, Aulia Pamansa Stiantono, as the presenter of this research, USA Digital Economic Impact on Indonesia, Indonesian economic activity post-pandemic. This paper was written by Mr. Bambang Hadi Prabowo, Mr. Suryaning Bawono, and Mr. Amaury Capdevil Chapuzet. In the first part, we're gonna talk about issues. For the first point, America is an open economic country whose economy is able to influence the global economy, including Indonesia. COVID-19 has shaken the US economy and has an impact on the world economy. And the third, the development of the digital economy has an impact on the world economy, including Indonesia, with an unknown impact. For the research gap, here we have the pro and cons of COVID-19 and the digital economy. For the pro, countries that can take advantage of economic digitization can take big opportunities in global industry. By Purwanto, and COVID-19 encouraged digital economic growth that drives the global economy, and digital technology innovation can drive economic growth. For the cons, COVID-19 in fact suppressed the global economy, even though it is followed by an increase in the digital economy. Even though COVID-19 was followed by an increase in the digital economy, especially e-commerce, was never separated from logistic and movement restriction, hamper the activities of the logistic industry. For the research question, we asked 2 points here about how big is the impact of the COVID-19 shock on the US economy in Indonesia. And number two, what is the impact of the growth of the digital economy in the US on the economy in Indonesia after COVID-19? For the data, we process the data that we obtain to become a registered domain variable as the data we analyze. The data on GoDaddy is monthly data, so we're estimating the USA data. We use data from BEA, and for Indonesian data, we use BPS data. In our first estimation, we estimate a causal relationship between registration domains in the USA using data from GoDaddy, and USA monthly economic growth from BEA, Indonesia monthly economic growth from BPS. And then the testing period for monthly data is from February 2018 to February 2020 to understand economic condition in Indonesia and the USA. In the second estimation, we focus on the impact of internet use in Indonesia and the USA in the annual time period from 2000 to 2020. This is intend as a triangulation of the first estimate in investigating the impact of digital economy, whose growth can be indicated by the growth of the internet users. In the second estimation, we estimate the internet users in Indonesia, internet users in the USA, GDP in Indonesia, and GDP in the USA, using secondary data from the World Bank. And here are the table 1 is presenting the description of the variables. There are domain registration, and then USA monthly GDP, Indonesian monthly GDP, USA annual GDP, Indonesian annual GDP, USA internet users, and Indonesia internet user. And then we use the following factor equation, where the y factor variable and the t is time series, 0 is intercept, and so on. Next, for the table 2, here is presenting the monthly data descriptive statistic, and the table 3 presenting the descriptive statistic of annual data. Table 4 presenting the augmented decoupleur of monthly data. Table 5 is presenting the augmented decoupleur of annual data. Table 6 is presenting the optimal lag test of monthly data. And then table 7 is presenting the optimum lag test of annual data. Next, here is table 8, presenting the factor estimate results of monthly data. And then table 9, presenting the factor estimate results of annual data. For the result and discussion, still there are 3 points here. For the first point, the increase in domain registration in the USA has a significant effect on economic growth in Indonesia. This indicates that the digital economy in the USA has an impact on the economy in Indonesia. Likewise, monthly economic growth in the USA also has a significant impact on Indonesia's monthly economic growth. And this shows that an open economy country like USA affects the economy in Indonesia, including the digital economy that is developing in the USA. Point number 2, in Indonesia's IGDP or GDP on IIU or internet users in Indonesia, the positive effect isn't significant, and the growth of IGDPY to UGDPY or the USA's annual GDP has no significant positive effect, meaning that economic growth in Indonesia has no significant effect on US economic growth. Likewise, the influence of IGDP on UIU or USA internet users is also not significant. Point number 3, IIU or internet usage in Indonesia has no significant effect on economic growth in Indonesia and economic growth in the United States. Internet users in Indonesia only have significant effect on internet users in Indonesia itself. But however, the annual GDP of the USA has a significant effect on GDP in Indonesia and GDP in the USA itself, but thus haven't had a huge impact on internet users in both countries. Likewise, internet users in the US have no significant effect on economic growth in Indonesia and in the US. Based on our estimates, we find that internet users have no significant effect on economic growth. Internet users in the USA also have no impact on internet users in Indonesia. For the conclusion, digital economy activity in the USA has an impact on economic growth in Indonesia, which is detected from the causal relationship between domain registration in the USA and economic growth in Indonesia. This proves the digital economy in an open economy has an impact on the economy of other nations. And this empirical evidence is reinforced by the annual US economic growth, which has a huge influence on Indonesia's economic growth. Even though internet users in the USA do not have a considerably economic and digital activities impact in Indonesia. Thank you very much. And finally, I'm Aulia Pamasastiantono as the presenter from the deepest of my heart. I do apologize if there are words that are not pleasing in this moment. Any kind of critics, comments, and questions, will be very appreciated. Thank you. I will leave this forum to Mr. Suryani.
Thank you, Ms. Aulia, for representing me to present my research. Maybe anyone, do you have any question or asking or comment? Time is yours. Thank you. Okay, if no one have any comment, because this is my research, so I don't have any comment to my research itself. So maybe the last presenting, I have the anyone have presenting? I mean, anyone will presenting, or the Aulia is the last?
Can I present my paper,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Suryani? Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Please, the time is yours. Thank you.
All right. Let me share my screen first. Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Chairperson, and all of the participants in this room. My name is Atu Bagus, and I'm the co-author for this research. Our paper title is the Village Autonomy Initiative. Basically, we are trying to capture how the effective strategy to utilize village fund in terms of in the era of where the development is focused on village. So we see that the village as the engine of development here. Okay, now this is our background. As the engine of growth, village has some instrument of development, especially the village fund, which the number of the village fund is increases to the last year, 20 and 21, from the first when the village fund is distributed. Okay, so I think I just want to focus on our purpose here. What we did in this research is we selected two different type of village. First is the developed village, and another one is the independence village. We are trying to capture how to push the developed village into the independence one. So we have the Ngijo village here, or in Bahasa Desa Ngijo, and Karangkates. All of them is located in Kabupaten Malang or Malang Regency. All right. So this is what we use in the literature review, the top model. Basically, the idea of this model is related to village governance, the quality of natural resources, and also lastly, the labor. So how these aspects interconnected each other to create a better ecosystem of village. So, okay. And also we are utilize how this is some obstacle which empirically found regarding to how the obstacle of village development, such as in the first place there are utilization village is limited only into the infrastructure one. I mean, well, this is acceptable since the condition of each village in Indonesia is really different, especially some village that located remotely outside our island. So the second one, we know that village is already have a village owned enterprise, but the business model is not well created. So this is what we need to mainly address. So how to utilize this village fund and how to optimize the management of the village fund for coming through the phenomena of unemployment and poverty, of course. So another one is what we call as quality spending and governance. So it's not talk about the model of the village itself, but also how the village manage their spending. So yeah, this is how we build the perspective to construct the strategy overcoming the independentist village. All right, this is our research method. We conducted this research into 2 stages. In the first place, there are a descriptive approach, which we surveyed the condition of social economy in the Ngijo village as to represent how village fund is affecting them. In the second stages, we incorporate semi-structured interview into the research, and we have 3 informants. We try to investigate how they manage the village in the era of village fund. Right. This research is conducted in the last 20 and 21. All right. Firstly, in case of village fund management, I think they are not really different each other, since it is they have the law of number 6, 20, and 14, and well, they have targeted work plan from the planning until the executing phases. So this is what we found, that how the management of village fund is varies very in terms of how they allocated them. So here, in the case of Ngijo village, this is what we see, that they are in the 2020 still focus on not really into the community welfare, right? They still focus on unplanned spending. Well, this is also acceptable, since we are in the pandemic situation that the national government instructed them to overcome this situation. Okay. All right. However, in the Karangkates village, as the Independence village, they allocating more on village community development, since well, as we know that they are not only here, they are not only focused on infrastructure, but also how to utilize their village. Of course, especially in terms of business model of the village. Okay, so this is what we try to do. We capture BUMDES is village-owned enterprise. Desa, the village of Ngijo has two village-owned enterprise. However, they are not operating very well. So I think this is what we commonly know, that when the village-owned enterprise is not operating very well, so the independencies of the village is also followed by not really optimal also. Okay. Again, this is the socio-economic condition of Ngijo village. So in the left side of this box, there are Ngijo village household, which we see that during the village fund, surprisingly, the average income is going down. And we see that the most affected during this era is the self-employed or the entrepreneur. So yeah, okay. All right, move on to the socio-economic characteristic of Ngijo village. So I think most of their consumption pattern is located on basic daily needs. Okay, still on food and beverage. Okay, but we see that during this time, as we investigate into different time frame, there are slight decreases on their spending, especially in the basic daily needs. Okay. Lastly, we try to formulate how the strategy to push the village into the new stages of development. In this case, Ngijo as the case study, we want to know that which strategy is useful for them. In the first aspects, we see this is the framework of toward in this independent research project. Independent village development. Firstly, we have driver for project initiation. So it is the existence of motivation both internally and external oriented to village. So the village has already the basic model for developing, but for the enabler for project initiation, it is very important to have support from first one. This is a visionary, enthusiastic leader, and the internal stakeholder, and lastly the external stakeholder. On this case, the enabler for project initiation, they lack on internal and external stakeholder, even though they have also already the visionary and enthusiastic leader for engine of development in village. Okay, next aspect is key success factor. It is a component that we argue that in the independent rural development, we requires the competent and development project manager and facilitator. So this is the basic what we try to express, that we need a better manager and facilitators, since we have a lot of village in Indonesia, but the project management is not delivered very well. I mean, not every village have a great manager to manage their project. And lastly, the challenges. It is a component that present a set condition that still need to be improved. So what we call this as a challenges that from the internal and external factors. So this is our conclusion. Ngijo village located in Malang Regency, East Java province, it is a protected village in advanced status. However, with quality, they are qualified. They have qualified human resources to manage village fund and credible village fund management. Even though they still lack on the village on enterprise. And the second one, village development through village fund as development instrument is difficult to evaluate. This is due to the condition of socioeconomic resilience during the pandemic situation. So it is not really clear whether the shift in socioeconomic status in village is due to the pandemic or the village fund itself. So, and lastly, the strategic steps toward the village management is to firstly increase the scale of village businesses, mapping the village potential, and lastly, increase the involvement of educational research institution in fostering village community. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okay, maybe anyone, do you have any question, comment, or suggestion for Mr. Atu Bagus to his research?
Mr. Nino,
Yeah.
the time is up, so
Oh,
we can
okay.
wrap up.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Because time is off, maybe we end our our presentation panel. Thank you so much. Maybe we can leave the room. Thank you for everyone.
Everyone can leave the room and go return to the main hall. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, aku close ya.